Toronto FC did not sign Walker Zimmerman because the defense was hopeless. They signed him because an improving backline was about to lose major veteran experience. And that distinction matters. Zimmerman has changed the defense through work that often happens before the tackle, organizing the line, controlling space, winning the first ball, and giving teammates a reference point. Toronto signed a center back. What they really got was an organizer. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to TFC On The Road. Here's how Walker Zimmerman has changed Toronto FC. 1. Why Toronto needed him. To understand the signing, start with the context. Toronto's defense had already improved under Robin Fraser in 2025. The supplied sources place it roughly among MLS's top 7 at about 1.29 goals allowed per match, a major step forward from 61 conceded in 2024. The problem was continuity. Then Kevin Long, Sigurd Rosted, Raul Petretta, and goalkeeper Sean Johnson departed, leaving younger defenders such as Lazar Stefanovic, Zane Malouis, Nixo and Gomez, and Kosi Thompson in a much less experienced group. That is the gap Zimmerman was brought in to close. A defensive line moves as one unit. Someone has to decide when it steps, drops, or protects the space behind. Zimmerman arrived on January 2nd with 2 Defender of the Year awards, 5 straight best, 11 selections from 2019 through 2023, and captaincy experience with Nashville and the United States. Toronto was buying experience they could put directly into the structure. 2. Leadership. You do not always see. Center-back leadership is easy to miss because the best moments often happen before danger arrives. It is a hand moving the line, a call telling the fullback not to chase, or a reminder to the midfielder to screen the next pass. Robin Fraser has described Zimmerman as a great leader and highlighted his character and willingness to mentor younger players. The front office also made that pedigree a free agency priority. He has carried that responsibility before as Nashville captain, U.S. national team captain, and a World Cup player. For a rebuilding team, that means younger defenders do not have to solve every picture alone. That is the kind of leadership Toronto needed. Not noise for the sake of noise, but communication that changes the next action. 3. The aerial advantage. Then there is the aerial game. At 6'3", Zimmerman gives Toronto a clear first contact defender in its own box and a legitimate target at the other end. The clearest example came against Columbus on March 21st. Zimmerman headed in Georgia Mihailovic's corner for the 83rd minute winner, led Toronto with 7 aerial challenges, and earned MLS Team of the Matchday recognition. That is more than a highlight goal. When the defense knows who attacks the first ball, everyone has a clearer job on the second. The midfield can compress, and the fullbacks can protect the next zone. In a league where crosses, set pieces, and direct transitions decide a lot of tight matches, that first contact reliability is a real tactical advantage. U.S. soccer records that Zimmerman won 79% of his aerial duels during 2022 World Cup qualifying, best among players with at least 25 aerial duels. The competition context is different, but it reinforces the same long-term trait. Winning the first ball has been part of his game for years. 4. Positioning before tackles. Zimmerman's best defending is often the action that never becomes a highlight. That matters because Toronto's fullbacks can push high, leaving the center-backs with space to defend after turnovers. Zimmerman is most valuable when he controls the distance first, holding the middle, showing the attacker away from goal, and buying recovery time. At 33, Toronto should not build a model that repeatedly asks him to race younger forwards through open grass. His intelligence becomes more valuable when the midfield screen, fullbacks, and line height keep the team compact. Zimmerman is not separate from the system. He is a player whose reading of the game becomes more powerful when the system gives him the right distances to manage. 5. The Kuscevic partnership. The March arrival of Benjamín Kuscevic added another layer. Toronto opened with Zimmerman beside Kosi Thompson and lost the first 2 matches, conceding 6. Kuscevic then arrived on loan from Fortaleza, giving Fraser a second experienced international center-back. The immediate results were encouraging. Those early starts included a 1-0 win at Cincinnati, a 1-1 draw with the Red Bulls, and the 2-1 win over Columbus. Both can attack contact, protect the box, and stay calm when matches become physical. That organization can also give an aggressive fullback such as Richie Laryea a clearer picture when stepping higher. The caution is pace. If Toronto loses the ball with the fullbacks high and midfield stretched, the pair can still be exposed. Against Austin in April, Toronto conceded 3 in a 3-3 draw while Fraser used a different central defensive picture. One match proves nothing by itself, but it provides a useful contrast for how personnel and spacing change the defense. 6. What he has changed around him. His most important impact may be the environment he creates for younger defenders. It is different to learn beside a veteran who has already seen the same transitions, overloads, and late-game pressure hundreds of times. Zimmerman gives them a live reference point for when to drop, squeeze the line, and communicate with midfield. That does not guarantee development, but it creates a more stable classroom. There is also a standard-setting effect. If a young defender knows Zimmerman will demand the line move together, communicate early, and reset after a mistake, those habits become part of the group rather than one player's personal routine. For a club trying to rebuild while still competing, that matters almost as much as the individual clearances and headers. 7. The concerns are real. There are real concerns, and ignoring them would make the analysis weaker. Availability comes first. His recent seasons have included injury interruptions, and with a contract through 2027 to 2028, age and durability matter. The second concern is space. With both fullbacks high and midfield disconnected, leadership cannot erase repeated recovery runs. And there is a broader truth. One center back cannot repair every defensive problem. Pressing starts with the forwards, midfield protects the central corridors, and fullbacks shape the rest defense. When those pieces disconnect, center backs become emergency workers instead of organizers. That helps explain why Zimmerman's positive individual impact does not automatically translate into consistently strong team results. The signing can work at the player level while the team around him remains unfinished. Zimmerman raises the floor of the defense. He does not erase problems elsewhere on the pitch. 8. Overall impact. So, has Walker Zimmerman changed Toronto FC? Yes, but not because one veteran defender suddenly fixed everything. His impact is structural. A clearer voice, stronger first contact, better control of defensive distances, and a reference point for younger players. Toronto signed him because an improving defense needed continuity after major veteran turnover. That is the difference between signing a center back and signing an organizer. One defends his zone, the other helps define where everyone else's zone begins. If Toronto stays compact and keeps the Zimmerman-Kuscevic partnership available, his influence should show up in the emergencies that never happen. Do you think Walker Zimmerman has been Toronto FC's most important defensive addition? And is Zimmerman with Kuscevic the center-back partnership AFC should build around? Drop your take in the comments. Thanks for following along with TFC On The Road. If you enjoyed this update and want more Toronto FC content, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. We'll be back soon with another edition covering the latest news, matches, and behind-the-scenes stories. Until then, stay safe and keep cheering on the Reds.